Totally independent. Fiercely pursuing accountability on policy and implementation. It's time for another DJ Elf 7 candidate interview.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy DGL7. As you know, I'm interviewing candidates from all across the country, and today I have a very special one, and I'm actually interested in for a variety of reasons. We're going to find out why, though. But I'm going to let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Scott Aubart. I'm running for U.S. Senate in Wisconsin against Ron Johnson.
Okay. And the thing is that you're actually running on something called the Independent Party or something like that?
Yes, I'm American Independent Party. I would say I voted both directions my entire life, but I just feel that the parties are clashing too much right now. We need more people in the middle ground.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people just go independent, but not American Independent Party, right? Which is cool. So
Yep.
did you guys now in New York, they create all these crazy ballot petitions. We got to get 3 times the number of ballot petition signatures as the normal. Was it hard for you guys to start your own party and stuff like that, or?
Well, I wouldn't say so. It's going to be hard to get on the ballot. That's going to be the tough part because even with the signature drive and everything that I got coming up, even if we will have the signatures but we got to petition the state in order to get on the ballot. So,
Is American Indian Party, are you guys national, or do you guys have state committees and stuff, or is it setting up right now? No, that's cool. That's fine. But just wanted to know where you guys are in the process. There's some other third parties I'm talking that are working on those things, and they can use some guidance and stuff like that. But already. Some states allow you to just run and just create those things, right? Which is great.
Yeah,
so,
that's what we're doing. We're just running and creating them.
Okay. So I also looked you up a little bit myself, but I want to share you with my audience, right, who may not have the time to really look that up. So tell us a little bit about your background that led you to run for this position, Senate.
I'm actually a maintenance manager by trade. I've been worked in maintenance just about my entire life. I didn't have a strong political background at all, other than participation in local stuff and things like that. But during the 2016 and the 2020 race, everything going forward, I just felt that it was time for real Americans to get out there and do what they can. I'm tired of politicians. I'm tired of millionaires, billionaires, movie stars, and everybody that isn't doing anything for us or doing everything for their own self-interest.
I agree with that, man. So,
and that's
yeah. Mostly work on
I'm not about making money.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Your maintenance work has been mostly on farms and stuff like that, right?
I've worked on just about everything. I do industrial maintenance now, so.
Quick question.
I'm a maintenance manager.
Okay, you ever hear someone named Louis Rossman?
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, he's actually he's just a little local guy, but actually what he does is he's something called Right to Repair Bill, and he's been trying to work on that. I know the farmers have been. The thing is that he has Mac stores where he does MacBook repairs, but the thing is that the farmers, right, with John Deere, right, fighting that whole right to repair. It's actually, I think Biden actually, there's some military thing going on. So that's one of the reasons why I was super interested to talk to someone who had some farm experience, right? Because that is actually a shared interest that we have with the farmers out there. And I know that he'd be traveling out to the western area, right, to handle those things. So that's going to be talked more about later. But go ahead.
Yeah. I grew up in the farm. I grew up farming. I love the farmers, and I'm not real big on the farming that's happening now in Wisconsin, because we've lost over 3,300 farms in the last few years, and it's just getting terrible. And they're just the small farms, but the small farmers can't stay in business anymore because these big farmers are pushing them out, and they can't make money. So and that's something I really want to look at.
Yeah, and these service contracts and all these other there's so many different pressures in the way that the business has changed, and yeah. So that's wonderful. All right, so. Now you said you had some local experience, right? That's fine, right? Yeah, local experience is still leadership experience. Sounds like you're an involved type of guy. I don't know, you did some union stuff, or what type of stuff were you doing locally? Tell me about it.
I just mostly just did working with mostly charities and stuff like that. That was most of my work. As far as leadership, I'm a pretty strong leader. I've been in management my entire life. practically, and then I own several businesses and different things. I think the reason for my run mostly is because I'm not stuck in my ways as a politician. And that's what I think most of them get. Like I said, I'm not big into lifetime politicians or people or people that get so stuck in their ways that they're not willing to work with the other side.
I think
And I
most
think
people
we need more
understand that.
people that, yep. And if we keep on sending the same people to Washington, we're going to continue getting the same results. We can't change. We got to change it.
All right. So appreciate that. Now the thing is that a lot of people you want to use the party structure to try to help their chances, right? Because of the ballot access and because of rent recognition, and some people just gonna automatically check D or R, whatever they want to. But you decide to go the independent route. Is that because of your rejection of party machinery, or is that just because is that idealistic, or like what was why that decision?
I've always felt I was more independent than I was either party. I voted both ways. I've liked
Okay,
different candidates from both sides, and I still do. So
it's fine. That's authentic. Yeah,
so
that's
that's
cool.
my reason for independent.
All
Yeah.
right. So usually I ask questions about my before I go any real deeper. I just want to get to know you a little bit more. But I'm going to ask questions about my
Yep.
political partners because I like to put them first. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions. The first one is, you ever hear of someone named Julian Assange?
Julian Assange. No, I haven't.
Okay. You ever hear something called WikiLeaks?
Yep.
Okay.
WikiLeaks. I hear
Yeah.
all about
So
it.
Assange is the WikiLeaks guy, and right now he's in jail. Right. Hillary Clinton was
Yep.
not happy with him releasing some her emails, right, things like that. Right. There was a big to do. So now he's in jail, and even though he wasn't the one who actually released this stuff, it was Chelsea Manning. He just published it, same thing as New York Times, but since he was the first one to publish it, they're making an example out of him, and they have him in jail.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I know he was locked up.
we're
Yes.
trying to get people to agree to free him. If you couldn't do that, that I understand. Maybe you don't have enough information, but would you be willing to, hopefully that you remember who he is, would you be willing to support the freedom of Assange?
I would. Again, and after you said WikiLeaks, I remember the story from way back when that happened.
Yeah,
And yes, he should have his freedoms to do what he did, and I don't think anybody should be locked up for that.
appreciate that. The second one is something called UBI, Universal Basic Income. How do you Are you supportive of it? Right, leery of it? What's going on with that?
I guess I don't have enough information on that, so
That's fine. Yeah, just as a word out to the I do was a strong person in the Yang Gang. Just the thing is that people want they think these words are magic solutions. No, they're not. Right? No plan can survive faulty implementation. So, right, people say UBI this that. Right? There's a lot of ways that it could be screwed up or be done properly. So, I like that answer. That sounds like a cautious answer that a manager would give, and that's an intelligent answer. So, thank you. Yeah. Let's move on to the
yep.
disabled, right? People with disabilities are allowed to be paid sub-minimum wage, but if you look at minimum wage, it's almost like a subsistence wage. You could barely make your rent and your food and live with some type of dignity. So the thing is that, maybe if they do have less productivity, maybe we could make it with federal subsidies or something. But would you at least support the, minimum wage for people with disabilities?
You bet I would. Actually, they should be getting a lot more than that. Nobody can live on minimum wage anymore.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
I people deserve to live. We're here one time on earth, and every one of us should be able to earn a decent living, whether you're disabled or not.
Appreciate that. Yeah. Now let's take a look at the trans community, right? Yeah. People who are trans often face a lot of discrimination, right? It's hard for them to get jobs, and I get it, right? Now the thing is that sometimes they might be trying to access things like public housing, but once they try to enter the system, they may face, right? There's no law that says that they can be discriminated against, but they might get beat up, or maybe they're just kind of pressured to leave the situation. How can we assure people that are having struggles, right? And there's no law against it, right? How can we assure that they can access public resources in a fair way?
That's a good question. They deserve. They're people just like everybody else, and they deserve the same rights as everybody else.
Yeah,
Um, how do we keep the racism from happening? I don't know. That's been a fight forever. And it'll probably continue to be a fight. But I think enough people looking at it will make it better.
okay,
And
so go ahead. Here's the interesting.
I
Okay.
just, I just think that everybody should be treated equally, regardless of race, regardless of color, regardless of anything.
Okay.
People are people, and that's my opinion.
Let's take a look at the problem like this because there's some different like ways that this problem could be looked at to just kind of like make clear your position on some things, right? So let's say, for example, that um, on record we have 10% of the people applying for public housing are trans. I'm just making this number up, right? But we see that only 2%, right, of these people are actually able to get into. So we see that there's some kind of discrepancies in terms of the numbers that suggests that, right, that they're being discriminated against or something like that. But then we have the problem of like, do you want to use quotas, right? Yeah, you're using these measurements, right? Are you going to try to align it back? If you try to put these people into their own housing, right, to maybe make them feel more secure, it could be considered ghettoization or discrimination, right? We're going to right? What are you going to do? Take all the black people and put them in one corner of the community? You know that
Right.
that's going to be potentially explosive. So, but you also don't want them to face discrimination. So, it's a complex idea, and as a manager, you know that's when your fun time begins, right? So, quotas, right? It can be. How do you feel about that, right? As in terms of like an addressment for these types of solutions.
The, there is a solution for it. I mean, we have to look deeper into the problem, because we shouldn't be discriminating against anybody. Everybody should be allowed if they're to get into subsidized housing or whatever they need to get into, if that's the way they need to live.
Okay, that's a
So
fair. Okay.
regardless of race, regardless of sexual preference or anything. So it's a
All right, that's a fair answer. Yeah, and that's I think that's what most people believe. So that's pretty solid. Okay, so now I'm going to get to some of the larger, broader, right, topics at hand, right? People who may be watching may even be sick of this topic, but COVID mandates, right, things like that. What's your position on that?
I I think everybody out there should do what they think is necessary. I think there's a lot of people that I'm completely vaccinated. I have no problem with it, but other people do. My own son is against it, and I can't criticize him for it. It's the way he wants to live his life. I expect you to take the steps that you need to make sure that you're safe and people are safe around you, but I don't think you should be mandating it.
That's good to know. Yeah. So there's we could talk about different types of the thing, broad ideas like police reform or education stuff like that, right? But you have your own specialty, right, from your background, right? Maybe the farming community, maybe labor. I don't know, but what part of the which one of the topics do you feel like you have the most insight on?
Inside on, I
Yeah.
would probably say, my biggest thing is probably the climate change.
Okay.
I think I feel that's the biggest thing in my right now, because as a hunter and stuff, I see it happening. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where we don't have a lot of time to change it. So and I believe in it, and I know there's people out there that don't, but I really believe in it because I actually see it all the time. So
Okay. So what are some of the plans that you might have to solve this particular situation?
I think it's just getting most of we have to cut down on emissions. I mean, on gases. We really don't have a choice. So electric motors, electric whatever we can go in the future, and that, I think you got to push hard for it, and we got to make it change. And I understand it ain't gonna happen overnight, but if we don't start doing it soon, I think we're gonna be in real trouble in the next few years. So
Okay. So I don't know about in Wisconsin, but I know they tried like have like some wind farms, things like that, right? Sometimes these things
yep,
actually, if you actually examine the actual metrics of what's produced, can be problematic and be negative or positive, right? So these green solutions aren't always as green as people think, but sometimes they are, right? Do you have any particular methodologies that you
you know
have
what
seen working or
I
prefer?
I like solar. I like solar energy, but we have a lot of solar fields around here, and to me, that's just a waste of space. And I don't understand why we're just not putting these solar units on top of houses. I mean, on top of houses and on top of buildings and stuff like that. We're not putting them out there in a field and taking up 600 acres.
Yeah,
Wasting. It's just a waste.
yeah.
And I've thought about that before, and I don't know why they ain't doing it like that. So
Actually, it's funny because that happens here in New York City. There's a lot of them on top of buildings, but we have to be
Okay.
careful too, because sometimes when they do build them on top of the buildings, right, and the money, instead of being shared with the tenants or things like that, right, it actually goes all to the developers, and it leads to a
Yeah.
power differential, right, which can be problematic, but there's good things about it too. So we just want to make sure that we're
Right.
right, not restricting people and making them pay the cost and then just giving all the money to someone else, right? So that would be
Right. Yeah. It should be. No, we got to figure out a way on that on the power grids and stuff and how that works.
yeah,
Because yeah, even the power companies where I live, I got XL Energy runs through my yard, but I got to hook up to Dunn County Co-op because they're a co-op,
yeah.
and so I don't get a choice. So I think if you get more people with more choices, I think it would make a lot more difference too, and where they're getting their power and who they're paying.
Okay. So running for Senate is actually quite significantly more difficult than running for House of Representatives. You got to kind of like have your own base, and but one thing that we might be able to help you with is something called Unified Platform for 22. And we have different people with different
Hmm.
like areas of expertise. We have one lady who actually has experience in law enforcement, another guy who's been an auditor for Medicaid programs. So, as in terms of bringing different common sense perspectives that we all can agree on, hopefully the unified platform could be something that something to bring a cohesiveness to all the independent thinkers like yourself, right? Because like you said, many people think independently, and we're not really looking for all this partisan bullshit. We're just common sense solutions. Let's push it forward. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, just getting along. You should get people to work together again. That's my goal.
Okay.
Getting people to work together again. And I think that should be everybody's goal.
Okay. So as in terms of Medicare for all, that could mean a lot of different things. So actually, I don't even really want to ask about that, right? But as in terms of like a lot of our main institutions, people have lost faith in our institutions, education, healthcare. Um, Now, one of the things that I like to really ask people pointedly is, okay, do they, people will agree with this and they say that the system's largely corrupt, right? And if people want to run for this level of office, are you willing to call out these people and make it go down? So they say they are. Do you know, right then, do you know of anybody or any system that's corrupt that you're going to go out and fix when you come in? Right? Are you
I
ready
think
to? Yeah, go ahead. Point the finger. Go ahead.
I think our entire Washington D.C. is corrupt right now. They're not working for us anymore. They're working for themselves. They're everything they say. There's guys out there that just trying to make you mad on one side or the other. They're just making money for their campaign. They don't care about you. They just care about themselves. They get so many kickbacks and they get so many gifts and everything else for what they do from corporate America that that's what we got to get away from. And that's what my whole run is about. And when I talk to people, that's what I'm telling them. We need people that aren't working there to get rich, that are actually there as a politician to work for the people of the United States of America.
One thing that we're actually involved in right now, you heard about how in Nevada, the Bernie Crats took over, the establishment, and in Buffalo there was that socialist lady. Not that I'm socialist anymore because I'm not. Not saying socialism is wrong for all solutions, but I'm just not overall. But they took over like the
Mm.
Buffalo, primary things like that. So what's going on right here is there's something called county committee, where a lot of people who are interested in getting involved locally, right? So we're stretching onto that unit, and then those people, right? Since that election goes down in March, those people who are interested in politics may be able to help you in November. So by being involved in other previous races, that can be a way to build your following and to latch on people that, are passionate about this subject right away. Because a lot of the casuals, they'll stop and listen to you and waste your 5 minutes and then they'll never vote for you, right? You got to find people that are
Yep.
committed and ready to go the distance. So I wish you the best of luck,
Yep.
man. Yeah. By the way, I
Yeah.
think you're
Thank
pretty
you.
cool. Do you have like a website where people can follow your work, stuff like that, right? Social media.
Yes.
How do you put it out
Yes.
there?
Yes. FollowScottsJourney.com. And I'm right in the middle of setting up some podcasts with the younger generation, our school kids. I got some coming up. They like the diverseness of my webpage and stuff, and my team. And I'm very diverse. I love diversity, and so
Okay.
it's that's one of the things I'm running on in Unity. So, and my website's being completed a little bit at a time. I just wrote all my information on healthcare last night, and I write it down and then I have it proofread and put on my website. So
Yeah. Scott's Journey. I remember looking at the site. I was pretty impressed by it. Just
Yep.
just I don't really tell people about this, but behind the scenes, right? A lot of times I'd be checking out and your website's all operational. There's a lot of like campaign websites out there that the
Yep.
links are all broken, like things are not working. I send the things, they say test back, and I haven't really called them out, but your website's actually
Yep.
functional. That's a good sign, right? Yeah, these people want to run
Yep.
for office and they have a non-functional website. That's not a good sign, yeah. But I've been pretty impressed by what I've seen so far. And just
Yeah,
before I
thank
go,
you.
right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go
Scott's
ahead.
journey.
Thank you.
Scott's journey, right? Do you do Twitter or Facebook or anything like that?
I do. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I just started the Twitter thing. That was something new to me. But Instagram, I just started a few months ago. But I've got quite a following on Facebook, and I've been on there since the beginning of time. So, and I've always been advertising to the public. So,
And people want to. Let's give them a reason, right? We just gave them the information about about where they can follow you. What's coming up? You got to get any cool events coming up? Maybe a little tour, maybe a town hall. I don't know.
I,
Yeah.
I've got some stuff with some high school kids that I'm going to Waukesha, Wisconsin for. That's coming up real shortly, and I'll have a podcast and I'll send the links on the stuff when I get that stuff, so I can get. And this is my favorite area. I just love working with the kids, and I love. A few years ago, I was a chaperone for a bunch of kids down in at History Month over in Washington, and I just love doing that kind of stuff. And kids have more influence than you think.
You know,
So
actually,
if you can
Jamal,
get them, you can get a lot of things.
I worked with Jamal Bowman's
Yeah.
campaign and his position of being a high school principal, right, for several generations, right? He would be the principal for one set of people, and then their kids would go and then be, and he would be principal for those kids
Yep.
as well. So that was a very powerful, community, right? Way for them to get involved in. I knew that he was winning the campaign right away, so I did very little work for his campaign because I was helping many other campaigns, but I could clearly see he was going to win. There was just no question.
Okay. Awesome.
So yeah, that's powerful.
Okay. So now my question for you is, how can when I talk to you, how can somebody else watch this? Is it live, or can they watch a link of it later? Or
Well, okay, this is going to be posted on DGL7.com, has links to all my media. It's going to be posted on Rumble, which
okay,
is my main platform, right? But it's also on YouTube. And the thing is that
okay,
this is also connects, by the way, I've actually emailed every single person running for Senate, right, in the nation, right?
yep,
Who's independent and third party. There's also Democrats and Republicans I'm talking to as well. Also all the governors, and we're also going to be covering House of
okay,
Representatives very soon too. That's going to be quite a project.
okay,
From there,
okay,
each candidate we're going to be watching each other, and hopefully we'll be able to get on each other's mailing lists and create something bigger than us. So it's on my DGL7.
okay,
It's on my YouTube page, and it'll be pumped out to my mailing list as well. Those are the main distribution channels. We're also working on getting ourselves
okay,
into cable access. If this campaign doesn't work out, a lot of people run multiple times, right? Yeah, sometimes people
yep,
don't. The guy from Kentucky, he ran 5 or 6 times, and now it looks like he's going to win after he did that groundwork to really build his base. I don't know if you're going to do that. It seems like
mm-hmm,
you're committed, right? Independent party seems like you're
yes,
committed.
very-
Yeah. So then what's happening is that we can get on cable access, right? If you take a look at Stranger Things, if you create a good enough product, right, people will come to watch it. So we're trying to get in cable access in New York, LA, Chicago, the 3 biggest markets in the nation. We also have connects in Seattle, and we're setting up for this national network. So we can really make this change happen, exactly the things that you're talking about, and stop these stupid politicians from getting in our way. So we're looking for people exactly
Yep.
like you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So God bless.
Yep,
Look forward
talk to you
to
again.
seeing you. ScottsJourney.com. Don't forget, folks. Yeah, I like this guy. Wisconsin, holler out. Yeah, right to repair. Definitely, this guy is maintenance worker. I'm sure we have some things to talk about. Yeah. God bless, and the climate and all that stuff. That's close to my heart, man. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DJ L7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
Truth of these
We are
words
on all
is
the major
beyond doubt.
platforms. That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute and Dailymotion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action Group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get up with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you can hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos. Make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot. And looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.